Welcome to Suzanne's studio. I'm Suzanne Barnett, your host. My guest is a man of artistic achievement that includes photography, painting, ceramics, and digital art. And I am so proud to present Michael John Price, who is also my son. Michael.
Hello.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thank
but I'm
you,
always much more nervous when I have someone as close to me because I always want to be so perfect. And the minute that happens, you know, it gets me nervous. But no, you are all those things, and I am so proud that you're my son, and I'm just so happy that you can be on the show.
Thank you for having me.
But you are launching a new business.
Exactly.
So, well, first, I want to tell the audience that you were in the wedding photography business for 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
I did that. Started with film and did the last 10 years with digital and was an early embracer of the whole digital medium. And I've been doing Photoshop for 25 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know 25 years. What is your favorite?
But my favorite, medium?
Medium, yeah.
Well, I really do love painting. I mean, painting to me is being able to take something that I call perfecting nature. It's like taking something I see that's beautiful and then actually embellishing it and making it even more beautiful, like adding drama and emotion.
And you're very special, and I'm going to tell the audience later on about what really happened to you and me. Our very special connection. And you're not adopted either. So tell about your new venture.
Okay, well, this has been really a labor of love. And what it is I have a friend in Rochester, New York, who crashed my first wife's wedding. And that's how we met. I met him at my wedding. And that was 40 years ago. And then John and I have had a pen pal relationship because he lives in Rochester, New York. And he claims that I saved his life because he had written a suicide note and he was ready to leave the earth. And he said that I made him realize that he has a lot more to offer. And I taught him stained glass techniques, and he became a stained glass artist, and he got so good at it that he actually did some installations in churches. So he got very talented, and he was a sheet metal worker, and now he's retired. And he and I were kidding around, and he called me Mink because I don't like the name Mike, and he didn't want to call me Michael, so he started calling me Mink.
Mink, M-I-N-K.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, Mink, how you doing? And so that was my nickname, and then I noticed that he lived on Ferret Street, so I started calling him Ferret. So we were Mink and Ferret. And mink and ferrets go back to ancient Egyptians where you've heard of cockfighting and dog fighting. Well, they had weasel fighting back in ancient Egypt, and the weasels would be the minks versus the ferrets because they can't stand each other's smell because of the strong musk, and they would fight to the finish. And that's we thought we were unique because we get along instead of being fighting. And then that just started this whole thing. And then he would come up with ideas about us being this unusual brotherhood, and we came up with all kinds of things. Then he would come up with ideas for me to draw, and I would fulfill them. And he was like, Michael, you're a genius. And so we just took it from there. And now it's been going on for 4 years. And now I feel like I'm talented enough to be able to draw what I love and have it look the way I want it to. And the hardest thing is saying, okay, it's done. But I have about 30 of them done.
And we're going to start to show them on the screen. And the thing is that I want the audience to know that you actually draw them.
Yeah, I started by actually taking real photos. Like these are the early ones, but now I actually do the whole drawing because I've practiced enough, and every hair is a stroke.
Every hair is a stroke.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they are so darling.
This is my favorite one because they can materialize dinner out of thin air. So they're like magicians because they can feed their families.
And the other thing is, you've got to tell the good part about when this really launches and you become such a famous weasel person,
This
right?
is my weasel empire.
Yeah.
And I've got all kinds of ideas. I mean, there could be like video games where they're either getting along or they're fighting, and there's this whole thing of the mafia, the weasel mafia, where these guys aren't supposed to be friends because the betting rings are getting less popular because of the naturalists who don't want, animals to be hurt and cruelty stuff.
So it's really political.
It is.
As well as artistic. I think we need to show some more of these, if we can. Oh, this is a kick.
So this was one that John said, if you could just put them in spacesuits, I don't know how you would do that, but so I did some artistic licensing, and then this is our logo, the flag.
But they're so cute.
Yeah.
And you have so many ideas about, you could make a comic book out of them.
It's percolating. It just keeps going on, and there's more things, and it just is, it builds on itself. And I'm just starting very simply with just the idea that they're cute little characters, and there's something that people would want to wear or have around. And that they're like G-rated. It's
so different, but what if someone steals your idea? You can't patent it, can you?
Here's the thing about art, is they can never be me, and I can come up with new things.
Yeah.
So I can't protect it forever, and just like right now, I'm ready to go, and I feel like I'm the originator, and I'll come up with new stuff, and it'll just keep going, it'll be fine.
Well, I'm hoping that by interviewing you, that it'll be on YouTube, and it will really help a lot.
Because for me, social media is really
talk about that.
Okay, here's the thing about social media. All this didn't exist before, and now I can take a picture and I can put it on my Facebook and have it be seen around the world instantly. I get an instant reaction from it. That's very powerful as an artist. And I'm thinking that this weasel thing would be really perfect for social media because people will want to wear it and show where it's been and what it did for them and that kind of thing. And they'll get feedback. And
then it's going to help people that don't believe in wearing a mink coat.
Exactly,
because of,
and that's what also has happened is I'm starting this foundation, and it's the Pet Not Pelt Foundation. So the idea that we pet the animals instead of pelting them.
Oh, that's so nice.
And there's still a lot of, even though fur is not popular here in the United States, it's very popular in China and Russia. And so we would like to donate things like polyester to replace the fur trade, and like donate, say, hats to Siberia so they can stay warm, and it'll be even better than the fur. So we'll have people be able to help the population of the weasels.
Well, I think that both you and I love animals so much.
Exactly.
I don't kill spiders or yellow jackets even, but I do kill flies and mosquitoes. Thank goodness there aren't a lot of them.
Well, I definitely picked up a lot of things from you. Like your artistic talent and your openness to humor and the kindness and getting accolades for your work, and I drink that in like you. So.
Well, I do think we have similar personalities, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell the audience what happened with you and me.
Okay.
Both of us were half dead when you were born. So it was just a miracle. And in those days, the doctor said, I don't think your son is going to be born because it was a placenta previa baby. In other words, the placenta came out first, or vice versa. So
Yeah, and wasn't my umbilical cord wrapped around my neck?
Yeah, and you came out
blue.
for 10 minutes without breathing. So that meant there was a lot of damage, and you were just that close to being cerebral palsy, and that's a lack of oxygen. And I started to go into shock, and they turned me upside down. This is before you were born. And the doctor said, I really doubt whether your baby's going to be okay, but I'm trying to save you. So it was very, very traumatic.
And this was at Stanford.
At Stanford, yeah. So tell what happened to you.
Okay, well, I later found out that I have this condition called TLE, temporal lobe epilepsy. It's a very mild case.
TLE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TLE, temporal lobe epilepsy. And what it means is that the oxygen was deprived in my frontal lobe, and it just happens to be the lobe that's creativity. And you can either be like a serial killer or a creative like Michelangelo, because he also supposedly had that. And Sylvia Plath, a writer, had this phenomenon where you hear voices within you, and it's the spirit talking to you. And I feel like that was my grace of having such a struggle at birth. And here in my adulthood, I have this incredible connection with more than me.
You didn't walk until you were 3. You know, you were dragging your foot. And I took you to a neurologist when you were 3, and he did some testing, and he said, there's no way that your child is normal, number 1. And number 2, he's not going to be able to go to a regular school. And none of the above happened.
And I remember, well, Dad was devastated that I couldn't play Little League. That was like, I was, you know, like not whole. I was like just not a complete son.
And you got all over it, because I took you to speech therapists, and they said, there's really nothing we can do. Your kid, Michael, has to do all of this on his own, and you did.
Yeah.
And I hate to use the word, but in all the years, excuse me, that I've known you, your ideas are so far-fetched. I mean, it's hard for me to believe all the stuff that you talk about. Like, you could see auras.
That's right. I've been able to see that my whole life. I always thought people saw colors, fountains of colors around them.
And, you know, for a while, I thought maybe there was something wrong mentally, you know, that you were.
I went to therapy.
You went into therapy. No, but you were always so different. But now I understand that, and I'm not bragging, but I think that because of what happened to you, you're especially talented. And every artwork that you've ever done, I think, has been beyond the beyond, really.
Thank you.
And when you came up with the weasels, I thought, God, this is really weird. And but I really think that I just hope that I can help promote you.
Well,
because
this is a great start,
you're
Mom.
so darling.
Have this be showing on YouTube. This is my original, the original concept. John said, could you get them in a field of daffodils? And I happen to have that picture from Filoli. And then these were weasels that I found online and incorporated them.
So, Michael, I always ask my guests this question. When you come up with an idea, even your photography, what happens to you? I mean, how does it come to you to know exactly what picture you want to take? What comes over you?
I feel like I'm a messenger. I feel like I have a gift of vision, and I can see something, and if I can catch that and share that, I believe that is my greatest gift. And we all are born with supernatural gifts. It's up to us to figure out what it is, whether it be a ballet dancer or a mathematician. We all have to figure that out. And my gift, I feel, is that I am this ambassador of this great news that eternity is in the now moment. And like everything that ever has been is still in this unfolding of the moment. And so when I see the intersection of phenomena, I take that shot and I can share that. And that's what my greatest gift is, to be able to recognize something phenomenal and then translate that to share with others. Because we're really here to learn that it's the best way to be on earth is to help others.
Yeah, and you're really that way, even more than I am, I think.
Thank you. Well, you're great too, Mom.
Well,
I mean, look at this, 25 years of doing this TV show, interviewing people and getting them to open up to you. I mean, you have this natural gift of that.
God, this is what we call this show, or massaging our egos.
Exactly.
Right? I love that. No, but I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You've had such a really hard time in life, but I think that sometimes people that are really gifted have quirks. Not necessarily what happened to you, but there's something different about people that are extraordinarily talented. I really think so.
Well, I agree, and I think it's like an extra sense. It's like this. It's a curse too, because I'm always so empathetic. I'm always feeling other people's pain, or I'm sensing something that I need to tell them. Like one of my favorite things to do is doing these readings about people and telling them what I'm sensing, what like their gift is, or what they can do to bring themselves out.
How does that come to you?
Well, it's me getting out of the way of myself. So I think of my right hand as my ego, and my left hand is my creative path to more than me. And I have to like let this down so I can let this flow. And I'm left-handed, so I can write and it flows out, and I just keep track of my ego and have that not be affected. And that's the trick.
Really, and you can really get that out of the way.
I feel it, and I sense it, and I know when it's pure, and I also know when it's kind of hyped up, and you can tell when it kind of gets polluted.
Well, I think you're a lot luckier than I am, and I think mothers should usually feel that way. They want their children to have everything and to be happy and so forth. But what you have that I don't have is you have such a positive attitude about everything. I mean, I do too, but not nearly to the extent
well, I think that's
that
hard
you do.
It's hard for parents, like even with my son, to like have them be your teacher. It's really painful. It's hard to do that, because you don't want to hear from the brats because you're older and you have wiser, and it's hard to and plus we do open up more as the generations evolve.
But why are you so positive when some things aren't that good, really?
I think it's kind of like I went through such an awful childhood with my abusive father that it was like getting out of the concentration camp and really appreciating the sunny day and freedom.
And so you keep appreciating that.
I do, and that's really at the base of it. And that's why I think that the horrible struggles that I had, even from the physical part of the birth to the awful part of being raised by this physically abusive man, and not really, and you being in the 50s and 60s, we didn't think of our kids as whole souls. They were like apprentice beings that were going to someday be whole, but little brats for now. But that's changed, and things are more equal and receptive to kids.
And I think that it's so wonderful to be, I've become much freer. I never would tell people about your birth. Never.
And here you are.
And
now
here I'm telling the world. But I'm just so proud, actually, that both of us got through it.
Well, I've had a lot of insight from that birth because I've written about it. I write every day. I've been writing. I have over 65 volumes that I've written, and it's thousands of hours. And what I figured out is that we all are given a gift, and it's up to us to figure out what that is. And that if we want to help others, if we want to do more than just us, if we want to leave a legacy, this is the time, the opportunity to do that. And I want to do that through my art.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know what else to say. You know, it's such a mutual admiration
Well, I'd like to say that you and I have really evolved as in, I mean, I'm 63 and I consider myself a senior, and I think that I have a wisdom of knowing and compassion for what you went through, to understand that you did the best you could, and I forgive you for anything from the past. And I know you think that's, how can I do that? But I really do have this gift to say, let's embrace what we have now, and look at us. We have magic together every week. I see you every week, and we have a great time together, and I feel like we appreciate each other in such a great way.
Thank you,
I really
Michael.
appreciate you.
You know, I'm very proud to be your mother and have you as my son. And it's so interesting because when we get together, which is about once a week, whatever we do, we seem to have some adventure.
We do.
And we can't be looking for it, but somehow it just happens.
And I love how you asked me about like my belief in that eternity, and you're curious about things that you don't quite believe in like I do, but you're really wanting me to talk about it, and I really appreciate that, Mom, that you want to do that.
Well, you're so lucky that you have such a positive belief about an afterlife.
I wish I could just give
know.
that to you,
I just don't.
What is it about? What is hard for you to just say you don't need this body to continue? I mean, just like in your dream, it's not you, and it's you in the dream, but you're not in your body. I mean, why don't you just see that?
Well, I go around for the last year and a half, and practically everyone I know, I ask if they believe in an afterlife. They think I'm crazy. And I would say it's 50-50 because I have talked to a lot of people. And my belief is that if a person believes that when you die, that there's nothing, like I do, which is to me very scary. I mean, not scary, it's just horribly disappointing. And the people that do believe, like you do, I think that they're much happier, or not happier, but they're more peaceful, they're more content. And as we get older, it gets, you know, really scary. Before you die, are you going to suffer? But I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about the final thing, that all of this has been for naught. And it's wonderful how people react to that, because they say, well, think of what your legacy, what have you done for people?
Exactly.
They'll always remember you. Well, big deal.
See, I have this belief that we come to Earth and we have this little day pack that we bring with us, and the only thing that we can take out of that pack is love, and we leave like these messages of love out of our pack, and then we also take love from those people we've affected and put that in our day pack, and we take that with us when we leave. And when people miss you, that's because I've taken part of them with me. And then what they have from me, and they remember, is will be right there for them. I'm present. And it's so it for me. It just makes sense.
Well, it's so interesting because you and your sister have never really had any religious training.
I know.
So this has
Besides, the neighbors took us to Christian Science school, and I'm saying, oh no, but doctors are great. You know, penicillin, come on.
No, I know. So all of this has really been on your own.
It has. But it's also getting the message, getting the internal, like being open to receive this new information.
So we're nearly at the end of this complimentary show. And what do you think's going to happen to the rest of your life?
Well, I feel like as I get more able to express myself and my creativity and be recognized and be acknowledged and have this flow going, it will give me a sense of who I am and give me that self-dignity that I thrive on and know that I'm helping others and that I'm making people laugh and I'm just making the world a brighter place. And everything I draw will be left and or photographed, and that's my legacy.
And you have a wonderful family, so things are looking up. And the number one thing, Michael, is to keep your good health, because that's all that matters. And also to help other people as much as you can.
And I come from great genes.
Thank you, except for your dad.
Well, yeah.
But he's dead now.
But
so.
he's given me a lot of insight, too. Like, I don't need a Porsche because I had plenty of Porsches with him.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll do this every 2 years, and aren't you lucky? It's called nepotism.
I love it.
And it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
No, I'm sounding very cynical, and I'm not really. And I want to thank our crew. We really do. I always say this, but I'm so appreciative of our crew because we couldn't do the show without you all, plus the fact that KMVT is such a wonderful, wonderful station. And not only do I thank my crew and Michael, but I thank all my viewers. And you know what? I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye. Mwah, mwah.